You all know where I stand. I am rooting for John Fetterman, and I despise Dr. Oz. Giving both candidates 15 seconds to respond, that's just insufficient. I'm sorry, even for Dr. Oz, he could barely articulate himself within 15 seconds. But for John Fetterman, who isn't having an issue with cognition, but he's having an issue articulating himself, I think that that's very evident. He needs more than 15 seconds to respond at a minimum. The moderators were terrible. Every single question was framed from a right-wing standpoint. For example, the question on Social Security. They asked him about Social Security, and the way that the question was framed was something to the effect of Social Security is only going to be fully funded until 2034. Except, okay, why don't you tell us what happens after that? So by 2023, it'll be fully funded until 2035. It keeps extending, and even when it's not fully funded, it will pay out a majority of benefits. So the entire premise of the question is completely fraud and comes from this right-wing position. It was difficult to make out what he was saying. Like, he would say things, allude to certain policies or talking points that I know, but if you're just a regular voter and you're not as well versed or savvy, you're not really going to know what he's saying. It was difficult to distinguish what he was saying. On top of that, from a policy standpoint, John Fetterman ran away from basically every single policy position with the exception of the filibuster. So Dr. Oz attacked John Fetterman for being an extremist, and essentially John Fetterman took the bait and he ran to the center, which is just not good at all. So John Fetterman has historically supported Medicare for all. That is essentially socialized medicine. It's where you get rid of private insurance, effectively. And he ran away from that, just saying, I want, Medicare for all, or I want healthcare, rather, to be affordable. He said the same about colleges. The progressive stance traditionally has been free college. But John Fetterman said, I want it to be affordable. When it comes to the issue of fracking, he's kind of flip-flopped on this, but historically, I actually just thought that he always supported fracking, which is one of the things that I disliked about John Fetterman. But apparently, in an interview that he had with Savage Joy, someone who I actually know, he said that he was against fracking. I mean, me personally, I don't necessarily care that much about medical records, but I think that other people are not like me, where they want to know, okay, I see that you're struggling to articulate yourself. Perhaps they don't know that this doesn't necessarily hinder his cognition. But I think that that's not really going to reassure them. But despite that, I do think that there was some positive moments from John Fetterman. It wasn't all bad. I do think that this zinger about Bernie Sanders that he threw in there was really great, because Dr. Oz kept bringing up how John Fetterman was an extremist like Bernie Sanders. And again, it pains me to say that because I'm rooting for John Fetterman, even if I have a lot of really strong disagreements with him when it comes to policy. I don't like that he has shifted to the middle when he has historically been progressive. Don't run away from your progressive stance.